This mother's addiction cost her everything: her freedom, her child, her future. Now she stands in court, hoping the judge believes she's changed.
And he also couldn't hear, so they're like shouting at him at the courtroom, and he would sneak the keys out of his wife's purse, and he would take off, and
well, it's fun.
He wouldn't stop. I think he obviously must have known he was suspended, but I think they're going to look out for him. Mr. George, I appreciate your compassion there. You're right, giving the guy a driving suspended ticket at this point. But if he does it again, we'll certainly deal with it. Anyway, that man eventually passed away, but he was adamant. I've been driving since, 2000 to 1926. And unfortunately, no one got hurt, but he was dangerous. And I remember being in that courtroom over there. I was still prosecutor, and just having my head in my hands. Anyway, God rest their soul. Gene Ali was an excellent chief of police in Sturgis. This gentleman was one of the founding board members at Glen Oaks, but he should have been driving. All right, we are back, and good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. We have just one sentence here. Tuesday morning is not a usual time for a sentence, but we made arrangements to do this one, and I think it will be fairly non-controversial. This is in the matter of Melinda K. Fowler. The file number is 251812FD. You're Melinda Fowler?
Yes, sir.
Here with your lawyer, Mr. Ross Truckee. And I don't remember exactly why. I think it had to do with Ross's availability, but we set the matter for this morning at 11, and it seems to be a good time to do it. Also present is Mr. Matt Huff from the probation department, who's got a lot of background history on here, and Abigail Stoll from the prosecutor's office. Quite a bit of back behind the scenes work has been done on this case, and Matt and Autumn have been working in conjunction with the Kalamazoo County Probation Department, and we have our sobriety court, and they have one or more. And on several occasions, they've referred people into our program, and on one or two, we've referred them into their program. So through the substantial effort of Mr. Huff and Autumn Kiefer, Kalamazoo has agreed to accept you into their sobriety court program, which I think is a win-win. So, Ross, what would you like us to know?
I think just going back in time here to August 29th, there was an order entered by Judge Kane's court relating to Melinda's son, and relating to a drinking problem that created unsafe conditions. And then on September the 4th, at the DHHS parking lot, where I believe parenting time was scheduled, we have this arrest. And it doesn't take too much to assume that rock bottom was either that day or real near there. Your son gets removed and placed in foster care because you're drinking, and then you're arrested outside of a parenting time. It's sad. It's sad for Melinda. It's especially sad for her son. Since then, through a couple of fits and starts and stumbles and adjournments, we eventually got here. Melinda completed an outpatient or an inpatient program at Our Hope in Grand Rapids. She was there. She worked with that team. They tried to help support her through this. She did a bit of jail in December. Your Honor, placed her in jail partly because of the stumbles we'd had and the failure to appears and the different things of that nature. But that was a wake-up call. She's been grabbed by the shoulders and shaken violently by the world. And I hope that her eyes are coming into focus here and that the sobriety court programming in Kalamazoo can get a foundation under her that lets her be the mother she wants to be. So I ask the court to just sentence to the sobriety court programming and transfer to Kalamazoo County.
Belinda, before I hear from you or Abigail, I would like to hear Matt's input. He and I have discussed this case, I don't know, but a dozen times over the last few months, tracking progress. And as Ross said, there was a jail component at the end of last year for the other offenses. But you've been working on your sobriety now since about November. Matt, what else would you like us to know?
Well, I think Ross did a pretty good job of explaining out what's been going on with Miss Fowler. I've worked with her in the past on the probation back in 2020. I got the distinct sense that she's trying to turn her life around right now. Some individuals often can use treatment as a guise to avoid any sort of sanction that might be there. And I don't think Miss Fowler's doing that. I think that she's a resident of Kalamazoo County. She wants to get better. She wants to get her custody of her child back. And I think that the 8th District Court Sobriety Court is going to be the best hope for her to do that. The sustained long-term intensive probation to make sure that she's instilling the right habits in her life. As Mr. Truckee did point out as well, she did do a substantial amount of jail up front. When there was
Well, I think she was using treatment to duck jail. So there was jail, but I don't think she is at this point. You said something interesting earlier this morning that she's at this point, the essence of it was she's not just talking the talk, but she's actually walking the walk and doing more than just going to a few meetings or that sort of thing.
That's my impression.
Abigail, do you have any objection to her being placed into the Kalamazoo sobriety court treatment program?
I don't, Your Honor.
We've had a good working relationship with them. Both our cases transferred there and their cases transferred down. I think everybody that's been transferred from Kalamazoo County has successfully completed our program. We may have given one back. Anyway, Ms. Fowler, you look good today. How long's it been since you had your last drink?
145 days.
Good for you.
Thank
One
you.
day at a time. Where are you right now in the stage of your recovery?
I'm staying at a recovery house called Abigail's Palace in Kalamazoo.
What's it called?
Abigail's Palace.
Okay.
It's a support group. The women there support each other. I go to groups through the house. And then I do groups through ISK, which is treatment and groups. It's individual therapy, whatever I need. It's also dual diagnosis. So for people with addictions and mental health issues, is to help cover all of those things. And I'm just getting into that program. I go to daily AA or NA meetings. And then just various other things that are required or have been asked of me. I wholeheartedly accept all of them. I'm happy to do it.
Well, what happens next? Because at some point you got to walk or ride your bike without training wheels. And Ross says you really want to get some stability and get your own place.
So from here, I've already set up with HRA, which is the Housing Resources up in Kalamazoo. And then I can't think of the other program that I'm involved with through ISK. That's going to help me with housing, and they'll also help me with employment. There's a seminar I'm going to be going to March 31st at Urban Alliance. That'll help me with employment.
What kind of work have you done in the past?
I've done cashiering, factory work, you name it, food, all of that. So I'm hoping to hear back on a job that I talked to them yesterday about. So hopefully that opens up because they have flexibility with the scheduling as well.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from here. I'm from Mendon, Three Rivers area.
Okay, because you've got a lot of resources here in the county. Domestic assault, reached out and helped, and you had some other stuff. For some reason, and you're in Kalamazoo primarily because that's where your treatment program is?
Well, the treatment, there's lots of opportunities up there, but also my son goes to Portage Central Schools, and so I want him to stay in the same school district. That's very important for his stability.
Now, you're not gonna have a driver's license,
Correct.
but you'll have the opportunity to get a license through this program with an interlock. That's a blessing too. All right. This is the operating while intoxicated. This took a while for all this to unfold. And I don't want to downplay Mr. Truckey's efforts here either. He's been trying to get you into this program since he got involved in the case. And so things kind of evolved. You did your jail time. But what you also did is you kept doing what you were supposed to do. You didn't stumble. You didn't drop out of the program. You didn't relapse. You stayed on the recovery path, which led us to where we are today.
Can I say something as well, Your Honor?
Yes.
I just want to thank everybody that's helped me get to this point, get all these programs set up, and I do appreciate that.
Well, we contemplated putting you in our program. I'm the sobriety court judge, and I'm always looking for people to pull into the boat. But the logistics for you weren't going to work because you're in Kalamazoo. So this is an elegant solution to this problem. How much jail credit do we have
48
here?
days.
48 days.
And her bond was reduced to a PR bond December 23rd. So I don't believe we have any bond.
All right. I'm going to order 90 days, credit 48, leaving 42 deferred. And a 24-month probation. Some stuff I have to order. I'm going to waive the fine. There's a crime victims' rights fee of $75 and a state minimum fee. Was there any police reimbursement? Abigail, do you see one in your file anywhere?
Just a second, Your Honor, I'm sorry. I do not see one now.
All right, I'm not going to put one in. There will be fees in Kalamazoo, so I'm going to waive our oversight fee. Not that Mr. Truckey didn't deserve it, but I'm going to waive the attorney fee. No drugs and no alcohol. Participate in 8th District Court, Sobriety Court. I will see those folks at the treatment court conference in May. We went out to dinner with them one night a few years ago and had a nice time talking with them about how they do things. And sometimes I think that's the real value of conferences and meeting your colleagues. I hope this is going to work. You've got a lot to motivate you. 148 days of sobriety is 145 days is nothing to sneeze at, but it's a battle every day. Right now you're in a sheltered environment and everybody, it's what happens next, but there's got to be a next. You can't stay in this program for the rest of your life, and you know that. So we're looking for next. When I run into my sobriety court people out on the street and see them, and talked to a guy the other day, he's been sober for 8 years, still has his interlock. I don't want you to have your interlock for 8 years. But he just kept it rather than get a full license. All right, your total fine here is $125. I can't make it any lower than that. As I indicated, there will be fees in Kalamazoo. I changed your bond to a PR bond. I'm going to make that due before probation ends. Matt will stay on top of this, connecting with them. He will also be going to the conference. All right, this is one of the easier things I've had to do lately. You really do look good. I've seen you at your worst.
Yeah.
Nobody looks great in a green jumpsuit after they slept on a slab in a rough night, but
I recognize that I needed those days in jail. You know, it gave me some clarity. Definitely did.
all right, good for you. Matt, you can take that.
Thank you.
Actually, I thought Abigail's Palace was in Sherwood.